How we doing here, guys? Oh, you're almost low, huh? Well, you're gonna have to wait. Alright, so let me show you what happened out here while I'm at it. Now, I'm thinking I should be able to roll that drum. Once I get the leverage up on it and get all this wood out of the way. Diesel stabilizer. Wondering if I'll be able to, I don't know, it might get away from me. I'll try it. Good. Now try it, roll it uphill. Damn, I'm getting too old for this shit. But it's either gonna keep me healthy or kill me, one or the other. Let me turn this the way I keep it normally. There. Now, hang this over here on the hook. And I think you're seeing most of this. This is the 12 volt power. Alright, so I'll take a break here while I'm talking about this. Now, that's where that drum usually sits. In the wintertime, I'll actually move it up here more. But as a rule, that's where it sits. And I think you're seeing this. I'm using the body cam right now, so I can't tell exactly what you're seeing or not seeing. And I'm totally out of breath. So, as you can see here, I have a hose. I ran the PVC pipe, so I'll be connecting that shortly. But meanwhile, I have this hose. Now, I think I told you about this hose. This hose goes in there, out there, and follows that mess, follows that fence all the way down on the other side, all the way down up against the fence to the house. That hose has been there for 10 years or better. I put that hose in there the first summer that we were here, and I don't remember, but I think we bought the house 05, 06. I don't remember. I really don't. But meanwhile, that hose has been there all that time. So that's why I wanted to run that irrigation, and I wanted to make sure that the irrigation I was running was going to be drinkable, so I can drink through that water. You can't drink, or you shouldn't drink, through the normal irrigation wire. So, hose. What had happened was, see that right there? Well, that popped, because that's got pressure on it. And that was running for about 3 hours in here, spraying up on top of the tank, as well as everything else. Now, the gas has lids on it, so it was spraying up on the tank. Well, because I've got this pump hooked up, there's a 1-inch hole with a 1/2-inch pipe, so there's a little bit of air around there. Now, here's an air here, but that wasn't going to bother it at all. Over here, I have an air, but I usually keep this one plugged. However, I unplugged it. Don't ask me why, but I unplugged it. Oh, I remember. It was getting all kinds of scuts odd, so I was going to put a new plug in it. So, as a rule, This isn't open, but that was open, so we have a hole there. Where is that? It's at the low point right in the rim. This one is at a low point, and it's within the rim because it's right over there, which you may or may not be able to see. This I wasn't too concerned about, nor this. Well, with the water spraying up on this, filling this up, this started to have the water run down inside, filling that with water. And that's what happened. So it really didn't have anything to do with condensation, which condensation in plastic, that's kind of a toughie. Your stainlesses, your galvanized, your aluminum, stuff like that, it would definitely more so. But if it does anything here, it's not going to be a lot. And that's why when I filled the tractor up about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, that was just before the hose burst. So when I filled it, it was good. And when I looked at it, I said, well, I'm going to have to get some fuel pretty soon because I was getting low. It was getting to the point where I wanted to start shaking it a little bit to get it up there. But again, I don't pay attention to this crap. I really don't. So it's like a date to me. You know, if it's empty, I fill it. So I came out here. I bring the tractor over, forgetting that this hose had burst, and poured water into the top of that for 3 hours, filling that up with water. Water going to the bottom, maybe an inch of diesel on the top, but for most part, all water on the bottom. This pump picks out from the bottom, naturally. I fill up, well, it took maybe a half a gallon. Really didn't take a lot. I take the hose out of the fill on the tractor, unplug this from the power, jump on the tractor. I no sooner sat down, it died. What the hell can this be? Not remembering that had busted. What the hell's wrong? I look in here, I see diesel fuel. I smelled diesel fuel because the diesel fuel was on the top. And like I said, it was only about an inch of it. I didn't realize that at the time. Well, maybe it's an electrical problem because when I unplugged this from the lighter plug on that I had hooked up, which I know I hooked it up right, but I don't remember what fuse I tied it into, to be honest with you. Maybe I'd blown the fuse somewhere in the spark or something. Who knows? So I checked all the fuses. I pulled the filter. That started running out, but it didn't look right. But it smelled like a real watered down kerosene or a watered down diesel. So at that point I'm thinking, okay, somewhere along the line I had gotten some water in there. Not, again, realizing that I had 20 gallons of water in here. So drained it, filtered, cleaned the housing because it's a cartridge. Checked the filter was fine, no gunk. The filter was basically new. I put it in a few months ago. Let it run. You know, actually those buckets over there are filled with old diesel or diesel water, whatever you want to call it. Now if I look at this is diesel. Yeah, but underneath it, if you look, you may or may not be able to see it. There's a lot of water there. So I'm thinking, what the hell happened here? All right. So I went out and I bought new diesel. That's what that yellow is. I picked up 5 gallons of diesel. Put it in. Left the filter off. Left the cockpit open, or the valve. Started pumping it in. I let maybe half gallon, 3/4 of a gallon leak out of the fresh stuff to kind of clean out the bottom of the tank if there was something there. Because again, I don't know if it was just bad gas or bad diesel or crap got in the injectors. Who the hell knows? So put the filter back in, tightened everything down, turned the key, nothing. Again, and I don't want to just keep it turned, so I always, I let it run for 15 seconds or so, because if that don't start within the first 2 or 3 turns, there's something wrong. 15 seconds or so, and I stop. I let the starter cool down, then I'll do it again. It doesn't want to start. So, well, let me pull the lines off and see where it's not making it. Well, it was actually making it, but it wasn't making it enough. Instead of pumping, it was just kind of pull up, pull up. You like that? Pull up. So that's what you see, that brake clean in there. You know what? I'm going to take some of that brake clean and spray it in some of these lines, just in case there's some gunk in there. All right? And I'm going to take my chances. The brake clean can melt things, so you got to pay attention. So I sprayed some brake clean in there, and I worked it a little bit, and I turned the key a little bit here and there. Next thing you know, it started to pop out. Poof, poof, poof. The heart was working again. So I hooked up all the hoses, and after 2 or 3 tries, 15 seconds at a time, it finally cranked, and it's been cranking fine ever since then. But what the initial problem was this hose. I forgot all about that. When I was talking to the wife about it, I'm saying, how the hell did that happen? First of all, the neighbor said, well, maybe kids got in the yard. No, if kids get in the yard, my dogs are going to know. So they're not going to get in the yard. And if they're going to come in the yard, do you think they're going to come in here, unscrew this, and say, oh, let me fill it up with water? You know what I mean? You know, there's a lot of other things they can do in the yard to cause damage other than putting water in a tank. All right, and take a chance of us hearing it run, because when you turn the water on, I hear it in the house. Okay? So it wasn't that. Right? Somebody's stealing it? Well, again, if somebody's coming in and stealing it, the dogs will let me know. And if they were stealing it, you think they'd want to get it and get out of here. Not get it and put water in it to say, well, maybe he won't know. Yeah, come on. You know, so nothing made sense. Plus, the cameras would have picked it up. I'm trying to figure out what the hell it is. I called the wife. The wife says, you remember the hose broke? Bingo. I said, son of a bitch. That's why when I filled it up a couple weeks ago, it was all fine. You know? And when I went to fill it this time, it died. That's because between then and now is when that hose busted. Somebody says to me, well, maybe rain got in there. Well, I'll tell you what, when rain comes, you know how hard it would have to be going and in this direction to put 20 gallons of water in there? You know, sometimes people don't think, you know. I mean, you're trying to think of what it could be, but then you're like, well, what's the obvious here? I mean, that's not going to happen, you know. So the wife figured it out when she said, do you remember the hose broke? I said, son of a bitch, you're right. Because it went up against, it went right over that. This was filled with water. All the water ran down inside. Bingo, bango. All right. She turned everything off. I was still in the house. I didn't come out here until the next day. And when I came out here the next day, naturally that's all gone. I fixed the hose. I don't pay attention to that. And that's what happened. So there's there is the mystery of why I ended up with 20 gallons of water in my diesel tank. So other than that, that's about it. Now, I appreciate all the suggestions, and maybe sometimes when I'm doing these videos, I may leave a word out here and there, a critical word here or there. I thought I was trying to explain it pretty well right, but you know, I had a couple of you guys come back with suggestions, and I appreciate it. I really do, because you know, you got to look at everything. Joe up there in Vermont said maybe, you know, the condensation, and that could have been, if this was a metal tank or aluminum or chrome, steel, I would think condensation may have been an issue, you know, because a couple ounces of water in the bottom would shut that down. But when I have 20 gallons and it's a plastic tank, you know, and it's just not going to build up the condensation, because you know, between the vents and then the plastic and not sitting in the sun constantly, not baking hot, you know, it's not like a boat. Now, I got a boat tank over there. When we had our boat, we had 2 tanks in there, 325 gallons. And when you're out, and you're out offshore, you know, you're 15, 20 miles out, you don't want to have a problem. So I always made it a point of every time I came back into port, I would fill the tanks. Because the more gas you have in the tank, the less room you have for those tanks to sweat. You know, and then naturally you had filters. You know, I had an abundance of filters. I had 3 gas and water filters on each engine and in different locations. So, but you know, you have your filters that'll help you. And then I used to keep 6 spare filters on the boat down in the engine room. So, but so I'm well aware of the condensation, Joe, and I do appreciate that. I really do, because like I say, you know, when you're not thinking straight, you know, is when you're going to miss that little thing like condensation, and that would have been my first think if I didn't have 20 gallons of it. Even though 20 gallons wouldn't have stopped it. I mean, you know, in this case, a half a gallon shut me down. You know, it went right to the bottom, got picked up, done. So, and then Steve up there in our brothers up in the other country there, Canada, he had a suggestion too, something about how long it took, because he can run about 10 minutes on his gas line or his fuel line before it shuts down. Yeah, and I said, well, man, this shut down like within a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I mean, like instantly. So that water went in, and while I was taking this and I'm plugging it from there to here, which takes me less than 2 minutes, and I set on the tractor, that water had settled to the bottom, got sucked up, and went right into the burn factor. So, and that's what happened there. But I do appreciate all the comments and the hints as to what it could have been, and I'm sure I'll get some more before this gets posted. So if I get back to you and tell you it's all set and don't get into a deep reasoning, you'll know why, and this video will kind of tell you that. So now that I got this off here, the tank is full. All right, this is almost full. I went to the station, I'm pumping, I get to $85 and the pump shuts off. Hell, you know, I'm at the Shell station, you know, I got my Shell credit card, so I go inside. Why did the pump shut off? You go, well, there's a limit. I have no limit on my cards. No, there's a limit on the pump. Once it hits 85 to 90, depending on the fuel, if it's gas, it'll go to 90. If it's diesel, it'll go to 85. It shuts off. I go, well, I need more. What do? He goes, exit out of it, get your receipt, put the handle back down, and then redo it all over again. Well, I can understand that. So, but you know what? If you're going to 85, why not go to 100? You know, if you're going to get beat, you're going to get beat for 85 to 100. If you're thinking about getting beat, shut it off at 50. You know, but meanwhile, that's what I did. I restarted it again and started pumping in there. So I don't know, I got probably about 40 to 45 gallons in there. Well, we got a mark right here on the side. Yeah, I got 40 to 45 gallons in there. So, and it wasn't too bad in price. It had come down a little bit. It's down to $3.19, so it's not too bad. Well, $3.20 by the time you go, $3.19.9. But it went down quite a bit as a comparative to where it was. At one time, diesel fuel was up to almost $5 a gallon. Diesel fuel was costing more than gas. When I used to go fill my boat up, the last year that we were using it, because we would go out, you know, every weekend, and even during the week, you know, because there's nobody around, so you can get your spots at different marinas. We go to New York, to Chelsea Pier, tie up for 2-3 days, take a cab into Little Italy, have dinner, see the sights, go back to the boat for the night, you know, take out, you know, get out there. Even though I have it for 3 days, I may take it out, we'll go up the Hudson River for a couple hours, 3, 4, 5 hours, you know, and maybe stop up there into a marina and have dinner or something. West Point, stuff like that. But like I say, every time I got back, you know, I would fill it. But back then, the gas was going up to like $4.50 a gallon, $4.75 a gallon. If it's $3 at the pumps on the street, you're going to pay $3.75 to $4 at the pump on the dock. Why? Who the hell knows? Because you have to. That's why they got you by it. Because what are you going to do? You're going to have to take a 50-foot boat out on a trailer to the gas station to fill it up. So they got you. All right, guys. So that's it. So I'm going to put the trailer back. I took my little breather. There's a nice breeze out here today. I did a video on, well, I didn't do the video on the machine when they were putting down or pulling the pipe, but it is done. And I think I did a video on it after. You don't want to start video people when they're doing something. You don't want to get them paranoid. You don't want to, have them feel uncomfortable. Even if I asked them, they said, yeah, don't worry about it. They're still thinking about it. I want them to think about doing the job, not think about, is he videotaping me, So, I gotta look cool, So, all right, let me get that up. That is heavy. I may even think about putting a hydraulic on that. I gotta put a new floor in it. I'm gonna wait until next year. I'll put the new floor in. And I'm gonna put some stabilizers on it so I don't have to use the wood. When I go to pull this on, the tractor onto the trailer, if I don't block underneath the back bumper here, the trailer wants to lift, and lift off the ball, or if it's not on, it wants to lift right up. So I have to put those blocks under it here to stop it from going up in the front. And then I have to take it and pull forward about a foot so that the blocks will pop out, because I can't pull them out once it's got all that weight on it. Well, what I'm thinking of doing is these end poles are hollow. So I'm thinking about going up to Tractor Supply and getting a couple of those portable jacks, with the handle on them, mount it right up inside, handle, I can roll it right down, pull the tractor on, roll it back up, and stop dealing with all this wood here. Use that for blocking the wheels and things, as well as the tie downs, but that's where I'm at. Then, oh God. Yeah, the other day, I wasn't feeling too good, and about 2 o'clock I started having heart palpitations. Now, it starts going up to 140, 150 beats a minute, if you know what I mean. It starts rapid. Now, it's not the one that'll kill you. There's 2 types, the way I understand it. One of them is where one part of the heart is beating like hell, and the other part isn't, and then everything starts backing up, and you end up with blood clots. That can kill you. That's serious. What I have is, it just goes into a real rapid heartbeat. The whole heart's beating like crazy, as if I was working out and running for a while. And it puts you down. It does. It tires you right out quick. Your legs get weak. You really have to lay down if it gets bad enough. So about 2 o'clock it started in the afternoon, and I went in the house and I laid down, and it was actually a Wednesday night. I had a meeting, and 5:30, 6 o'clock, it's still going. Now, it's not as bad. It's calming down, but it's still there. Now, a lot of times, grunting, like you're sitting on the john, a good grunt will do it. You pull your knees into your chest and give a good grunt. Sometimes cold rag, cold water, ice, around the neck, the back, the chest, cool down real quick. Sometimes that'll do it. So I've tried some of that and it didn't work. So I said, oh shit, all right. So I wrote it out. About 8 o'clock, it finally calmed down. The next day, I still wasn't right, and every now and then it started up again and stop again. I'm saying, man, all right, I got to pay attention to this, because, I've had a heart attack back, 6-7 years ago. So I want to pay attention to this crap. And I noticed that my top of my foot was itching. I'm saying, what the hell is that? And I look at it. Well, I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see it or not. This is going to be a long video. I'm sorry, guys. Well, it's there. You may not be able to see it anymore as bad as it used to be. But that's way down now. That was a monster. I think I got bit by a poison spider. And that's what was causing all that problem, because it was like I've never had before. I was used to it because, I've had it all my life. 15 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute. It may happen once or twice a year for, a minute. But, never that long and that uncomfortable. And for those of you who have it, or had it, everybody, I think, has it every now and then or once in a while. You know how I mean, like being somewhat uncomfortable. And then it speeds up your whole body metabolism. So the next thing you know, you're heading to the toilet like a racehorse. You take a sip of water, and before you get it down, it's time to get it out. So, all right. Let me bring the trailer back over where it belongs. Let me dump the water out of the wheelbarrow because the wife never sets it up right. Well, I got kind of pissed at her the other day. I mean, I can't stay pissed at her. But I was pissed at her at the time I was doing it. Well, let me get this back. I'll do it on the other video. Oh shit, I had the water running all that time. I was cleaning out the boys' water. My wife says, "What are you going to do with that sink? It's a mess." It's a work sink. Naturally, it's a mess. Told her, this is my spot. If I was doing it in the house, you'll worry about it. Yeah, this little body cam works pretty good. I was surprised just how good it actually works. Alright, I gotta go this way. And around those trees. And now that way. And a big old U-turn. Good. Alright, so now let me get a block of wood, put underneath that so I don't have to roll down the wheel all that far. Here's more pipe I have. This isn't drinkable. I got more over there. Here's some batteries I got to get to the scrapyard. Okay, let's move this over to here because we don't want the trailer to move. Let's take this piece of 4x, or that's a 6x. Alright. That's done. Oh, I'm over here. I started filling this in again with crap. I don't know why. I have this dug out. Well, you can't really see it from there. Now, a lot of that is just a lot of brush. And it's got a little dirt on it. So I can flatten that right out. And I may end up with a 1.5 feet on the bottom. But other than that, what I want to do is I want to buy a small or a medium size single axle school bus, or another one of those box trucks and put it down in there, and then secure it, and then cover it over, because I really like to get rid of a lot of these out sheds. I don't like all these out sheds popping up out of the ground. So if I can put things down, that's what I'd rather do. Now the other option is come over here. Oh, I'm not going to see that. Now you're not going to see a lot of this growth. I clean this growth out like every year and a half. I didn't do it this year yet, but there's actually a like a little cliff right there. And right now I'm probably about 15, 20 feet higher than down there. So if I went down through the gate here, down around, and dug into this, then I can bring a bus down from up there, down around and through that clearing, back it right in, and then just cover it over. So that's another option. But if I do that, then I'm going to have to fence that in, because it's not fenced in down there, and I want to eventually get that all fenced in. Where here, it's already fenced in, so it's somewhat protected. You know, and the dogs can get to it if they have to. All right. Let's get this out of the way. Take this camera inside. And I'll tell you what the wife did that got me pissed off while she's at work. Oh, I don't know if you can see that or not right there, but that's where they brought one of the irrigation pole pipes. Now that one is not going to be for water. I got that there so I can pull electricity through it. Because I'm going to put a pole right there with lights shining that way and this way and over into that way. Instead of having all these other lights all over the place. And that'll also let me get rid of that pole. Alright, so we got fresh diesel in the shop, or in the shack, or in the John Deere area. Alright, yeah, so what he did was he pulled this through here, all the way through over to there, and then I have another one over here that I am going to use for water. And like I said earlier, you know, I really don't care about irrigation as far as watering my lawn. You know, I mean, let nature take its place. I mean, what am I going to do? Water it? And if you're not weeding it, you're going to end up watering the weeds and get more weeds. Anyway, so I don't really care about that. You know, when you cut it, it looks good. I don't care. But I had him run this one from here all the way down beyond that tree that you're looking at on the other side, about 35, 40 feet to the other side. And from there, now I can reach anywhere I want to reach with 50 feet of hose, maybe 75 or so. I'll keep 100 down there just in case. But meanwhile, this will be tied in up here, and I'll be all set. And I noticed that they left me some of these. I did ask for some. I asked for a couple of different types, and he said he didn't know if he was going to have them or not. I have tons of these, so... My kid keeps me supplied in these. You know, I was almost getting ready to call my kid up and say, oh, you told me they were going to have everything I needed on the truck. I asked for a couple of fittings and they didn't leave me any. And then I come out here today and I see these things here. So it's a good thing that I didn't call him and start complaining. Well, he's used to that because he knows how I am. Right. Stop dropping things. Come on. Come on. Come on. Now. Don't let the Italian come out of me. Oh, jeez. Okay. By the way, this dash body cam. Hey, Tuck. You're okay, buddy. This body cam does 3-minute segments. Now, it's a complete. When I hook it up to the camera or to the computer, it'll run a complete video. but it's in 3-minute segments, if you know what I mean. All right.